What is up, Facebook Live? Welcome to Top Dogs on Northeast Kayak Fishing TV. Tonight we have the Angler of the Year from the Adirondack KBF. We got a bunch of questions to go over with him. Without further ado, we're going to bring him on, Mr. Bryan Nunziato. I hope I pronounced that correct.
You did. Yeah, you said it right. Nice job.
Awesome. I've been worried about that.
You got it. You got it. You were good.
So how you been? Everything's good, I hope.
Yeah, it's going really well. I'm in the fitness industry, so you know how busy this time of year is
Yeah,
for
everybody's
for fitness and
everybody's
there's
trying to
New
get
Year's
that.
resolutions and everything. Yeah, so
Yeah, get that
pretty
holiday
hectic.
weight off.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could use some fitness.
Yeah, we all can.
So I've done a little research on you. Um, you're born and raised in New York, from what I gather.
Yeah,
Uh,
from East Greenbush, or like right across the river, just outside of Albany.
right. Um, and I learned that your aunt had a house on Lake Champlain.
Yeah, actually, it is. I mean, it's been in the family for, I mean, as far as I can remember. It belongs to my aunts and uncles on my dad's side, and I mean, we were going up there since. I mean, my dad said I think it was like around fives, and we started going up there. But I mean, he was going there since he was a little kid, and all my cousins and uncles used to go up there every summer and just hang out, vacation, and of course, fish. I mean, what else did I do up there in Lake Champlain? No, but fish.
So what was that like? I mean, growing up on a major body of water, a really popular body of water in our group here of fishermen. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I looked forward to that trip every year. We would spend at least a week up there. Sometimes my parents would come up on vacation. I would end up probably staying like another week or two up there with my cousin. And, my dad would take me on the boat and just teach me how to catch pickerel. And that's when I first learned to really catch bass. But, we lived on a boat, and do you remember those Johnson, those silver minnows, and you put the
Yep,
the hula skirt on the back.
yep.
We all used to go out there and just throw those things over top of the weeds, real man, just get like those big blow ups of big bass and pickerel. I mean, that's what I remember up there. That was fun.
Yeah, I bet, man. Um, Now, growing up on a big body of water like that, I can't imagine kayak fishing was a whole big part of that. So, what turned you on to kayak fishing?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, I was in school full time and, just starting my career, and I wanted to get back into fishing. I took a little bit of time off, and, I was just looking at Facebook and some videos of my cousin Michael from Buffalo. He lives in Buffalo now, but he and his two buddies, they all had these Jackson kayaks. And I was like, you know what? I need to get back on the water. I was thinking, a motorboat's a little bit too expensive. I have no place to really store it. So they were doing all these float trips down the Grass River, the Oswegatchie, and then the Racket, and they would just take like these amazing videos, these catch and release videos. They were also doing, these floats and staying on these campsites. And I was like, you know what? I go, this looks awesome. I need to do this. So he kind of actually turned me on into just, kayak, fishing in general. So that's kind of how I got started in that. And that was, I think, like 3 years ago.
Nice. Um, Now, what about tournaments? What made you join your first tournament? What made you make that
Oh,
decision?
well, I mean, I always liked fishing. I mean, I thought I was, halfway decent at it. Um, and I remember I was up at Mountain Man. I think I was just getting some supplies for my kayak for my new boat. And I just happened to see, I think it was like a brochure, or it might have been just some type of like advertisement in, one of their publications. And it said, at the time, Adirondack KBF was, Capital Region New York kayak bass fishing, or New York Capital Region kayak bass fishing. So they had this tournament up at Mountain Man. I think it was like a big bass tournament. So it was like one fish, biggest bass. So I was like, you know what, this looks like fun. Let me give this a shot. So I get into my kayak, and you know, like once I hit the water, once I caught like that first fish, I was like definitely just like just turned on. I got like I think my first fish was, I don't know, maybe like a 12-inch bass out of the kayak, and then but it was still exciting.
Right.
And then I think the next fish I caught, I think I only caught two like that event, but I mean, I think the last one, the biggest one was like 17 inches, and I think I ended up in like fourth or fifth place. But I mean, at the time, I don't remember, like catch boards or like the hog troughs or anything like that. So our mountain man gave us these, just like these boards, and I think it had, just like some measuring tape on it or something. So I remember putting my fish like on the board. I mean, it was my first term. I had no idea what the heck I was doing, right? So I put the fish on the board. I mean, the fish's head's turned totally opposite direction. Like the fish's mouth is like 3 inches open, so it's kind of like, I mean, just me getting that thing like in the picture, it was just, I think that was kind of cool. That was a challenge there. But so, I mean, after that, I was just like, yeah, I mean, this is awesome. This is something I want to do. I love the thrill of competing. I love meeting new people. And it's kind of, this is, I can see myself doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. Um, After my first tournament, I can't get away from it. I fish every tournament I can. I mean, we got like 3 or 4 local clubs around here, and I mean, I fish almost every one of them. Last year, I did almost 30 tournaments.
Wow.
This year, I'm looking at probably over 30 tournaments. I fish as many
Nice.
as I can. I just love being there, being around the guys, and love fishing.
Yeah,
So
same here.
yeah,
I mean, you meet, I mean, with these events, I mean, competing is fun, but you meet like some really cool people who are now like, some of my really good friends. So that's like one of the things that I really enjoy about kayak fishing, not only just, competing in the tournaments, but then again, it's just like, meeting, some cool, like-minded, passionate people who, they're cool like on and off the water. So it's kind
right.
of like what I really like about it. But our club last year, ADKKBF, we had a variety of tournaments too. We had some live events and we also had some online events too, which I thought was kind of cool, like a really nice mix. But I don't know. So I'm really looking forward to this year, and there's going to be like some slight modifications in the schedule. We're going to be gravitating to some more, live events are going to count towards AOY, and I think that's fair. I mean, it's going to level the playing field a little bit. So I have to step up my game during the live events.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Um, the challenge series, I mean, I
Yeah,
crushed it.
you did well.
Uh,
I saw your points.
yeah, I mean, I won the state. I was
Yeah,
5 points away from getting the perfect season.
nice.
Jason Gardner, if you're listening, we still got a score to settle, buddy. The last one night stand. Um, I fished it and I thought I had it, so I just went home
Okay.
and went to bed. And I figured, oh, I'll just wake up early, and if somebody caught up, I'll go back out.
Yeah.
And I didn't wake up. Uh, by the time
Yeah,
I
that's
woke up, it was past submission time, and I looked, and Jason had caught an absolute pig, 21 and a half or something like that, and beat me out
nice.
by I don't know, half an inch or an inch or whatever it was. I don't remember, but ruined my perfect season. We joke about it, but
Yeah, I did some KBF challenges this year. I think I did three. So the first one, kicked off the season April up in Northeast, and our season starts in April. So I did the April month long, and I did well. Um, I posted 104 inches for that month. So that was yeah,
I'm gonna bring it up right now.
yeah,
Here we go, 104
nice. Okay,
inches.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we can talk. Yeah, let's talk about that. I think I started in April, maybe. I think it was like the first week. I was like really, itching to kind of get out there. And me and my buddy, we just went to this local lake. It was actually a recommendation from another one of our anglers in our club, Trisha. She's awesome, great angler, great person. But I mean, and we invited her, of course. It's like her kind of like her turf. So I had to
Right.
throw an invitation out there to her. But I think the first day that we were out there, I'm pretty sure I think I put up like 90, 92 and a quarter, I think, in one day. So it was a pretty good start to April. But I went out a couple more times and able to upgrade a little bit. But I went up to Boston Lake. I think it was like the third week in April. You're always looking at the forecast before you go out. I was looking at the weather, and it was just cool temperatures. Periods of like really like heavy rain and winds. I was like, you know what? I said, I'm going. I'm gonna fish and just see what happens. I'm gonna try to fish like in between like the downpours. So I got out there, I think it was like maybe 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm throwing the chatterbait, the jackhammer. That's like my go-to. The Be Height Delight with a Rage Swimmer,
Yep.
the green pumpkin pearl. That's my favorite lure right there. But I think I got a couple. I was able to upgrade maybe like one or two fish, but they stopped hitting the chatterbait for a while. So I put on a War Eagle spinnerbait. It was the River Rat. Has like the gold willow blade and the like the red Colorado.
Yep.
So I think I took like one cast with that, and I got a 20-inch bass. So I think it was a pig, right? But then like the rain starts coming down. You're trying to take a picture with your phone, and like your screen's getting all wet. You can't hit the buttons, so you're just getting like super frustrated. But I was able to get him in the boat, um, save the photo, of course, and then just put the phone back in the bag. A couple more casts. Really didn't get much. Went back to this other side where I started. I think like two casts into it, another pig, 20 and a half inches. So I'm like, these fish are smoking this thing, right? So a couple more casts, and okay, I'm on again. I go, this fish is huge. This is another pig. This has got to be like another like 5 pound bass. So I get it to the boat. I'm about to reel it up and pull it, right? So the fish comes off the hook, falls into the water. So I reach over and try to scoop it. My whole kayak just capsizes, right? And
Oh
I go into
man.
the water. I mean, I wasn't in like a ton of shock really. I was like surprised that I actually like fell in the water, but I was already like soaking wet, from the rain. I'm just like, okay, do I have my rods? Okay, I got this rod here. It's just like hanging over the kayak. What else am I missing? I see my other two rods kind of like hanging off the rod racks in my on my tackle bag. So I'm like, okay, those are
And
there.
this is April in New York.
It's April.
It's
It's like
not
50.
warm.
It's like 50. It's like 50 degrees, like the water temperature. So I was like, I'm just go over top of my boat, and I'm just trying to drag it closer to shore. I was able to get, I just find some firm ground, and I just get under and just like push the boat over. I'm trying to find like what I'm missing. Okay, well my rods are here. I got my tackle bag. I got like Gatorade bottles like floating in the water. It turns out that I lost. I think it was like my headlamp. I lost a couple pairs of some pliers and stuff like that, but I was like mostly concerned about like my phone because I didn't upload these 20-inch fish like to Tourney X yet. This is crazy. I don't want to lose my phone. So, I get back in the boat, just trying to regroup, and I'm just like reaching for my tackle bag, and I find my phone. I'm looking at it, it still works. I text my buddy. I'm like Mark. I just fell in the water, and he's like, text me back. He's like, you okay? You okay? I'm like, yeah. So, totally fine, wet, cold, but I'm gonna keep fishing. I should have probably just got out of the water, got some dry clothes or whatever, but the fish were biting. So I think it was like an hour after that. I'm still wet, my teeth are chattering, and you know throwing that War Eagle, and boom, another fish. I just got like another. What was it? I think it was like 20, 20 and a half, 20 and a quarter.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was like a good start to my month long,
Yeah.
and I got the rest of the fish in that for that April month long. That came during that Saratoga Paddle Fest. That was actually like our first live tournament of the season. So that's when
We'll
I
bring that one up now. Right here. That was 99 inches.
just really slow retrieve, just
Oh,
right
I'm
up that
losing you.
incline. I was just getting hammered. Boom! It's like 21. I think the first one I got was like 21 and three quarters. So I was like, wow, okay. So I'm definitely definitely on some big fish here. So then I think I just changed rods. I had a big black and blue. It was like a 5/8 ounce jig on there with another, Reactions Innovation, another Sweet Beaver, another bomb cast at a sink. I'm just reeling it in nice and slow. I'm just like feeling the bottom, all those little bumps, and boom, again, I got another one. I don't know what it was. It might have been like 20. I can't even see the screen. What it was, 20
You got a
something.
20. You got a 21.75.
Yeah, it was like a 20. I think the first one I got was like 20, the 21.75, and I think the other one was like 20. But I mean, I was definitely on some big fish, and you get some other anglers coming over. I mean, you see that you're posting like some good sized fish. I remember my buddy, my best friend, like Mark. He comes over. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, you're doing well. He's like, "Good job." And he's like, "Where are you getting?" I'm like right here, kind of like where your boat's positioned. I was like, just like move over just like a little bit. We can kind of share the space a little bit, but I mean, I was locked in. I mean, that was a good spot right there, and I pretty much stayed there for the remainder of the tournament. So I posted 99, I think, for that live
99
event.
inches.
Yeah,
And
that
you
was
won
a,
with
that
a
was a good
10-inch
finish.
lead.
Yeah, and I think my buddy Mark finished in second too. I think he went to the opposite side of the bridge and started doing some, throwing pretty much the same
Yeah,
thing. But
Mark Emerson came in second
yeah,
with 89.
yeah, he's a great angler for sure. Good friend too. Yeah,
Awesome.
he had a good day.
Now, did this tournament count towards your Angler of the Year, or is this a separate?
It did, yeah. So this was our first one. So this one did actually count towards AOY, but those fish that I caught, during that event too, went towards the April month long. So I mean that helped me out a lot too. And I think I might have went over 100 inches. I think in that those fish helped me out there. But there was another tournament series too that was aligned with the KBF April month long, and then our tournament too. So it was a Yak Bassin series, fairly new to the circuit. But I mean that was a weekend long challenge, Saturday and Sunday. I couldn't fish Saturday, so whatever I got on Sunday would just go towards that. And fortunately, my the 99 was good enough to to secure the win there too. So I was pretty pumped about that.
That's great. Guys, if you're just tuning in, Northeast Kayak Fishing TV, we are here with Bryan Nunziato. We're talking the ADKKBF. That's a tricky one to say, man.
ADKKBF, yeah.
Yeah. We're talking his AOY season. We're having an issue with the video. So I was trying to figure out how to get it just audio. I think we're tuned in good right now. If anybody's having any problems, just please comment. We apologize for the video mishaps here. I'm not sure what is going on. But make sure you get in the comments. We'll answer any questions you have. And now we'll get back to Bryan and with the next question here. Going into the season, was Angler of the Year a goal of yours? Was that something you were reaching out for?
Yeah, actually, it was. Obviously, I just wanted to, fish the best I could, in all events. And yeah, I mean, AOI was kind of like on the top of my mind, and it was yeah, I was talking to the guys. I saw them last weekend, and it was pretty much like a nail biter, all the way to the end. Everybody knows kind of like what their stats are. I mean, I knew what my stats were. I mean, I keep track of like a spreadsheet. A couple other guys do too, so who's kind of like in the, in contention there. And we were just talking the other day. It's like, oh, okay, if I get 90 something inches in this event here, and you get this, maybe I can call this event. You'll be a couple of inches short and going into the last tournament. If I get this, I can call this, but you need this. So it's just kind of like, okay. So you start getting into the math. It kind of gets into your head a little bit, but I mean, I think that's what happens when you know that you're going in kind of like with a lead, but it turns into like kind of like a little mental game too. But
Yeah, the whole fishing tournament thing is a mental game.
yeah,
I don't know if you've watched a few of the past episodes, but that's been a big topic
yeah,
with a lot of anglers, is the mental part of it. And it seems like
yeah,
once
for
you
sure.
can master the mental part of it, that's when you
Mhm.
can be very successful at this sport.
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, I totally, yeah, for sure, totally agree with you. But I mean, we have some. I'm sure in your group too, and all the other clubs. I mean, there's some amazing anglers in all these clubs here. So I just consider myself, just very fortunate to have, ended up, where I did. I mean, the competition was, tight to the end, and kudos to all those guys who, fished their,
Right.
fish hard throughout
I've
the
met some
entire
of those
season.
guys up there, and I've fished against some of
Yeah.
those guys up there, and there are definitely
Mhm.
some sticks. I mean, Tyler's sweet.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, he's awesome. Tyler's,
Yeah,
yeah, it was Tyler's a good buddy of mine too.
yeah.
So I
I
mean,
like
he and I
Tyler. He's a good guy.
yeah, so we were battling it out to the end. So we're both like stats guys, so we both
Yeah,
kind of knew where we stood. But yeah, I like Tyler. Hell of an angler too, man.
yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, yeah. Go earlier. You were talking about the KBF challenges and the one night stand. So I actually did one too back in, I think it was June, like the last weekend in June. I think they had the ONS. And
Yeah, you crushed it on that one. You crushed me. I'll tell you
oh,
that.
I did it. Okay, cool, cool. I mean, sorry, but so I
I
was
did
fishing.
horrible. I think I ended up in ninth in that one.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, so yeah, so the June, it was like the June month long. So I was fishing for, and then also the ONS, and then again there was like another Yak Bassin. Um, tournament that weekend too. But I mean, I put a lot of hours in that weekend because it was like towards the end of the month. So I think it was like a Friday. So I went out to Boston Lake. It's a lake I absolutely love up here in Saratoga County. It's like one of my go-to lakes, and if I ever need to get some decent fish, I usually go there. But I was fishing for the June month long. It was Friday. I think I got to the lake around, I'm gonna say like around 9 a.m. and I started fishing for the month long, and I got a few upgrades, and then my buddy Seth Snowball, he's a great angler, another one of our club members, so he was gonna meet me a little bit later on. So I think he showed up maybe like around 10 or 11 or something like that. But he and I were both fishing for the month long. It was like around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like, man, I'm just like super hungry. We're gonna have like a long night if we're gonna do if we're gonna stay out. So we just went up to this local restaurant, grabbed some pizza. We're just kind of like just talking a little bit, kind of like what our strategy is gonna be, because like, he wasn't fishing the ONS. I mean, I was, but he was just fishing for the month long. So he had something in it. But so we paddle out. We get in our kayaks. It was like 5:30. I think the ONS started like around 6. So we're just like paddling, just waiting for 6 o'clock and to get that first cast. So we're fishing, and I think it's like around 7 o'clock. I actually got like my first fish. I think it was like a 20 and a quarter. I think it was like right around 7 o'clock. And then I didn't get like another bite, I think, until about, it was like 9:30 at night. So, and I ended up I ended up missing that fish too. I mean, I could hardly see the thing, but I just totally missed it, got off, whatever. So I was like, oh, I just think I just totally just like blew my opportunity right here. But we just continued to fish. I think it was like around 11:30, p.m. or something. I mean, we need a break. Let's just go to Stewart's and grab like some iced tea and like some like Doritos or something, just chill out, kind of regroup, and maybe just reline this like some of our rods, put some new fluoro on there, and just kind of regroup and chill for a little bit. So we headed back out. I think it was like midnight or something like that. And you're casting, you hardly see anything. I mean, if you cast and if it hits the water, I mean, I think that's a good sign. You hear that splash or whatever, but it's not up in a tree or in somebody's dock. But it was, I think, 2:30 in the morning that I got my second fish. And I think it was like a 19 incher. So I think I got 20 and a quarter and like another 19. So I ended up with like 39 and a quarter for that tournament there. So I was able to put some fish towards the June month long, and then my 2 for the ONS. But then also that Yak Bassin tournament too, that started at midnight, 12:01 on Saturday morning. So I was able to put some fish up, for that tournament too. So I had a good start going into that. I was lucky enough to win the the ONS for June.
Right.
But also,
Rich Biggie tuned in. He says he's tired of battling it out with you in the monthlies.
I do. I know. It's just like Rich is a good guy.
Yeah,
I
I
like
know Rich. Rich is definitely a
I know.
good guy.
You have him coming on too, I think, in
Yeah.
like a week or two. But it was funny because like Rich actually he texted me when I was out in the water. He's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about going out, with the month long." Okay, I'm like, "All right, cool." It's like, dude, I just put up a 20 and a quarter. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna go. I don't think I'm gonna go now. But I think yeah, but it was fun. We had like some really cool banner back and forth.
Oh,
But
that's what
yeah,
makes it great. I mean, we do it around
it
here.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. But all right, so I'm like fishing for the ONS was over. Still fishing for like the month long and the Yak Bassin tournament. So I mean, I'm super tired on Saturday. Fishing how many hours? Like 24, 25 hours, like in your kayak.
Right.
So I'm like whooped. But I'm looking at my the tourney X. I'm just like, man, I really want to win this Yak Bassin too. Just make it 3 tournaments in one weekend. That'd be really cool. So I'm looking at my fish on Tourney X. I'm like, damn, I got a 13-inch bass in here. So I got my limit, but I got 13, a 13-incher. So I'm still in the lead, but somebody can easily post something that's gonna be a little bigger and just move me down to second place. So Sunday morning, I wake up and me and my fiance were having coffee, like watching the news or whatever we do on Sunday morning. So I just kept like looking at my phone, my 5 fish. I'm just like, there's 13-incher. I was just like, so I'm just not happy. And she's like, I mean, she's super supportive. She's like, why don't you just go fishing? I'm like, okay. I ran upstairs and just put my out the door. My kayak is still on my roof from like the tournament the night before. So I just, shoot up. I'm telling her, I was like, listen, I said, all I want to do is I'm going to go. I'm just going to get. I just want to try to get an upgrade. If I do, great. If not, it is what it is. So let me just get one upgrade, and I'm going to come right home. So I pulled in Saratoga, launched my kayak. I'm out there, two casts, get a 15 and a half. I'm like, oh, I got my upgrade. You know what? Maybe I can get something bigger. So, so I go back into that, just like that one, that one corner, like that one point, and I'm casting out there. I'm throwing, I'm throwing the chatterbait. Like again, it's like my favorite lure. But I get hit. Boom! I'm like, oh, game over right here. I got it. And it's just bring it to the boat. It's a stupid pickerel. I'm just like, oh man, still fun, but like wrong species. So let it go. Then I think it was like maybe I don't know. It wasn't that maybe 20, 30 minutes later. And then I finally land like an 18 and a half incher, and I'm just like, I got it. I said, I'm happy with this. Pack it up and go home. And if somebody went out and you know caught bigger fish, I mean that's good
Right.
for them. That's cool. But
They earned it. Yep.
yeah, they absolutely, yeah, for sure, and they deserve to win. But I don't know, just being like competitive. You're gonna. I mean, if you give me 24 hours of fish, I'm gonna fish almost 24 hours. I'm gonna be out there as long as I possibly can. So
Right. All right, we got some more guys tuning in here, guys. We have a little issue with the video, so we're just going with audio tonight with Bryan. Um, we're gonna get into the next question. Uh, Tell us about your current kayak setup. I'm gonna bring it up on the
okay,
screen, but
yep,
tell
yeah. I was
everybody
looking at.
how you got it set up.
Okay, cool. So it is it's a Jackson Cuda HD. I think it's like 13 foot 10 inches, 80, I think like 85 pounds. But I have the so I'm running the Ray Marine, the Dragonfly 5 Pro with a 10 amp Nakwa battery. So that seems to power it, as long as I need, like 9 or 10 hours I'm getting out of it. But I did have a rudder kit on it at one point, which helped, with the tracking. But I mean, it's a pretty long boat, pretty narrow, so it's pretty quick. With the paddles, it was just at the time Bending Branches Angler Pro, so that got me around pretty good. Um, what else?
What are you running for a crate? You got a black pack or?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about this for sure. Yeah, because I was looking at the picture. It was for the crate. It was, or it is still currently, is a feel free lure bag. So I
Yep.
did definitely want to talk about this. If you're familiar with Feel Free, they came out with this really cool bag. It has like five, rod holders, like plenty of storage for like the 3600s. But I'm currently using that to hold my my tackle boxes and everything. But I'll tell you a story about how I got this Jackson, because I did have a Feel Free lure at one point. I used it for like one season, but it was like the close of the season. It was like October, I think, like back in 2017. Our club tournaments were over, and I just wanted to go and just have some fun, just low pressure, no stress, just go out and catch some fish. So I headed up in the Adirondacks, this place called Lincoln Pond, one of my favorite places to fish. So I get there, I saw like one other. It was just like another boater, another angler out there. So it's like we pretty much have this entire lake to ourselves. It was like totally calm. The water was like glass. It was just like awesome fishing. I mean, I was catching like a ton of fish, and I was like, you know what? I was just like, something bad's gonna happen. That's what I said. That's what I said. I'm like, I'm having like too good of a day. Like something's not right. Something bad's gonna happen. So at the end of the day, I'm packing all my stuff up and loading my kayak up, and I was just like, okay, all right, cool. I had an awesome day in the water. Great way to end the season. This was like my last outing of the year. I probably won't, go, bass fishing in the kayak again until the spring. So I mean, I'm loading the Feel Free up on my vehicle, my Mazda, and I had on like the Thule, like those elevators. So I just had just like the two straps just wrapped around. I didn't put the bow and the stern straps on, which I know I should have done, but so I'm just like heading home. I'm driving down, down the Northway. I don't think I get like to exit, like 19 or 18 or something like that. And I mean, so, I mean, like with my dad, like my parents always say, okay, if you have something like on the top of your car, if you're towing something, don't go 90 miles an hour, down the highway. So I mean, now I know why, because the thing just started bouncing and just like flew off my car,
Oh
just
man.
landed in the highway. So I mean, fortunately, like nobody was hurt. I
Right.
mean, it could have been like a lot worse, but I learned my lesson. So now I take a little bit more time and, make sure that everything is like tied down properly. I know that we all should be doing that, but, again, nobody was hurt. So I just had, my kayak was just like torn to pieces. So I finally got it home and it's like, you know what, I need a boat. I need a kayak. So I started just doing a little bit more research and I was like, I just, kind of decided that the Jackson, like the Cuda, was like the a good fit for me. So that's how I kind of ended up with that, and kept the feel free bags.
Nice. Now, how many rods do you usually bring with you on the water?
Like I've been bringing like three three with me. I'd sometimes, I mean, I don't like to bring many more than that. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. It's like sometimes I just get like other rod like lures like stuck in other rods. So I just like I think three is like good for me. I always have everybody. I'm sure you can relate to this too. But we have our tackle box is like filled with like 30 different type of lures. I throw two.
Right,
The same.
exactly.
Yeah. It's like we have
I bring like eight
different,
rods with me, and I fish
yeah,
with two of them.
yeah, yeah. And if the lure that you have like on one of your rods is not working, you're like, yeah, there's no fish here. The fish aren't biting. But
Right.
instead of just like trying to to switch up. But I mean, it's something I learned that too. It's just like I put a lot of time and energy into the planning, and so it's like we're in the water. Sometimes I let the time of the tournaments it's kind of get to me, like I keep looking at time. Oh, yeah, like this many hours left, and it's just kind of like, all right, I just need to kind of like settle down, kind of just regroup. Okay, it's only going to take me 30 seconds to change, to change out. Maybe it's like a different color, or maybe it's like a different lure entirely. But that's kind of like one thing I learned too. Is like in the past, just kind of just take your time. Just enjoy being out there, have fun. Just fish.
Right.
It shouldn't be just going out there and just trying to catch fish. But it's just like the sometimes like the pressure of the tournaments kind of get to you. But I just think over the past like 3 years, I think that's one thing I really tried to work on. It's just just trying to settle down just a little bit, and again just be a little bit more patient, take my time.
Right. Just
You
go
know,
fishing.
just go fishing. Yeah, exactly, for sure.
Now, I know we talked about the state challenges and stuff, and you were the state challenge champion in New York.
Yeah.
How does that feel to you? Like, how does that make you feel? Do you think that's a big accomplishment?
Yeah, no, I think it's I mean, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of really good anglers out there, and I mean, all I do is I go out there in a tournament, and I just just want to do the absolute best I can. So, I mean, if somebody beats me, then they deserve to win. But I registered for for just three KBF tournaments this year, and the rest were just all club tournaments and some other challenges too. But it was the April month long, the June one night stand, and the June month long. Those are only three KBF events that I did, and I was fortunate enough to take first in all three of those tournaments, and get my 600 points per tournament for
Right.
1,800 also.
See,
Yeah, it's pretty.
I didn't realize that you only fished three. I mean, that's huge. You fished three, you won
Yeah.
three, and took the state championship. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, my main goal was just to, do some challenges, or a challenge, and see if I can get back to the national championship. So I was happy about that. Then I was talking to Tyler, and it's like, I seem to be doing okay in these state challenges. And he's like, if you, get, like X amount of points, 1,800, or, or close to it, he's like, you can fish in the, the national, challenge championship out in Wisconsin. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds kind of cool. Maybe I'll, I mean, let me try to do that. So then I kind of made that a goal, and that's why I did the other two, like the one night stand, and then the June monthly.
Right.
So
Did you go to Wisconsin?
yeah, I did not actually. Like I said, like my fiance, she's like super supportive. I spent a lot of time on the water, without her, unfortunately. But she, for her job, she's lucky enough where they give her 2 weeks mandatory vacation. So, and I was just like, you know what? I was just like, I spent a lot of time, away. That's let's just go on a vacation together. This is the 2 weeks that you have. This is the dates that you can take it. The Wisconsin tournament. I mean, hopefully I'll be able to do that. Another time. But we just she and I spent 2 weeks in Hawaii. We were lucky enough to do that, so it's kind of like Wisconsin, Hawaii is just, had to kind of weigh it out. But yeah, but I mean, it was like
30
an amazing,
degrees, 100
yeah,
degrees.
yeah. I mean, it was like an amazing, amazing 2 weeks. And I did fish when I was out there, so actually, I got a guide and we did some shore fishing. So I got some pictures I think posted still up there on the Instagram or Facebook. But I caught this really cool fish. It was I think they called it like a wrasse, a wrasse or wrasse or something like that. But I mean, it looked like somebody took this fish and just like painted it with like pinks, blues, and
Right, yeah.
very vibrant. So it was really cool. It was a good
I
time.
know exactly what you're talking about. I
Yeah,
used to be a saltwater tank hobbyist, and a
yeah,
wrasse is actually
yeah,
one of the
right.
fish that you would keep. They're really cool looking. They can be super aggressive.
Yeah, I think fought like crazy.
Uh, how about the NC? Are you going to the national championship, Gunnersville?
I am, yeah, for sure. So I need like some NC redemption because this is gonna be like my third NC, and the first two didn't pan out so well. I think the first one was with Kentucky Lake,
Yep.
and I think I mean I posted like one fish. I think during that tournament it was like a 12-inch bass or something like that. But so I didn't perform well, and then last year down in Bossier, down in Louisiana. I mean, you're fishing in, Kentucky Lake. You have, down in Louisiana, you have like some of the best bass fisheries in the country. And to go down there and, and not, catch a limit or even like your PB or even like two fish. I was able to catch like one fish at Caddo, which is like a big surprise. All you gotta do is throw a plastic out of a cypress tree and you catch a fish. But I was able to. I don't know. I
Hey, I
just
know other people that went down there and struggled too.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, Kentucky Lake was a challenge for me. I was super excited to fish Kentucky Lake, and it's like you're watching like all the the Bass Masters and like all these pros going down there and catching like these monster fish. And I was like, my goal was to go down there and just catch a couple of really nice bass, and all I caught was like a crappie and like a stupid drum.
right.
So,
Yeah,
but
when I went to Toledo Bend, I thought I was going to
yeah,
go down there and smash 10 pounders like they were nothing,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
same.
caught two fish.
Yep.
It was horrible.
But I mean,
Uh,
it's a great experience. I really,
right.
I mean, I love, just like, I mean, does somebody sound crazy, but I do. I mean, I enjoyed it, the long drives down there, and it's just a great experience, just like overall. So I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be able to, to compete in, these national tournaments. I mean, there's like some amazing anglers there, and it's cool to kind of meet everybody, that you see them, the same people you see like a posting on Instagram or Facebook, and actually get to meet them in person is really cool. But yeah, so I want some redemption this year at Guntersville. So that's my 2020 goals actually. I would love to make it to the top 100. Day three at Guntersville. Get a limit both days and be able to advance. I mean, that's one of my goals for this year.
That's awesome. I've qualified for 3 years, but this will be my first year actually going.
Nice. Yeah.
Um, I can't wait. Gunnersville's a bucket list
Yep.
place to fish for me. Um, so I can't wait to get down there, and I'm sure I'll see you there.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. Definitely should meet up.
yeah, this is a question I ask everybody that comes on the show.
Yeah.
Your top five anglers of all time, and it can be anyone. It doesn't have to be a pro. It could be somebody you fish with locally. Your top five anglers of all time.
Top five anglers of all time. It could be any one of our anglers, and it could be some pros and stuff, right?
Right.
Okay. Here we go. Our club president, ADKKBF club president, Brian Balser. He's an amazing angler, but he's also like an amazing person too. He's like super like selfless. Like he didn't fish in a ton of our tournaments this year. He was like really busy just trying to build up the organization. So I mean, I totally just like respect him for doing that. I mean, if he fished in all those tournaments that I fished in, I mean, I think the AOY would have been a different story, man. He's just like an amazing person, amazing angler. Um, man, I don't know, like Hank Parker, right? He's still a fisherman. That guy, remember him?
Yep.
Like Bill Dance, like those guys. I
Yep.
mean, I grew up like watching those guys. Like, what is it? Roland Martin.
Yep.
That's four?
That's for you.
Oh, man,
Need
who
one
else? I
more.
don't know. Just like Mike Iconelli,
Yeah.
this dude is just like so
Everybody
like
says
and he's
Mike.
like animated. He puts himself out
Yep.
there. It's like all right. He seems like a cool dude. He's
And everybody's had that moment. Everybody's had that moment that
Yeah,
they went Ike on the water, screaming
yeah,
and yelling, whether it was for good or
yeah,
for bad.
yeah.
Everybody's had that moment on the water.
Yeah, and it's also too. I mean, he just seems like he's like a really, I don't
Yeah,
know,
he's
like
a really
a
down to
generous
earth guy.
guy.
Even though he's
Yeah,
an animal, he's a down to earth guy. I mean,
yeah. It seems to be pretty generous and the charities and everything like that. Like my buddy Mark, my best bud who I fish with all the time, but he I guess Ike was doing like some type of the giveaway or something, and my buddy Mark won it. It was awesome. It was like this tackle bag. He got like this awesome this awesome reel, the Ike reel or something like that, and a bunch of other stuff. So I mean that was kind of cool.
right. I'm gonna go to the comments here. I
Yeah,
know Michael Shatra. I'm
yeah,
hoping I.
Mike Chatraw.
Yeah,
Is he
he
gonna fish
wants to
this
know
year?
what your favorite setup is. I'm assuming like rod and reel. He's asking.
Okay, can I give him my two favorites?
You can give him two favorites. It's your show.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Okay, so like my good friend, I have two good friends who make rods for me. So Trisha Angelini, who is a good friend of mine, she's also ADKKBF member. So, I mean, she makes these amazing custom rods. So she made me this. It was a 7 foot 2, medium heavy fast MHX blank. This thing is awesome. So she made two for me. So like one casting and then just one spinning. One of the outfits I put on or one of my combinations is her blank with I put the Shimano accents on there for spinning, and also for the casting I put a Met MGL on there, but also um, my buddy Andre too from Andre's Custom Base makes some great rods too. So he made me this awesome, custom casting again. It was like 7.72 again. It's like medium heavy, but I mean that thing's awesome, like super light. And again, I just put like another Met MGL on that. But I mean, those are like my two or three favorite combinations. So.
Right. I'm not familiar with the Shimano reels, but I know from hearing from other people it's a great reel.
Yeah, yeah, I like those. I had a couple of the like when the DCs came out, like the Shimano Titanium DCs, with it was like the little microchip in there, and so you cast, it's like wing like that. So I bought a couple of those things. I mean, I was getting like more, bird's nest with those than I was with the Metanium, the MGLs. So those are my favorite ones for casting.
That's good
And
to
then
know.
for spinning, I like to I'll do I'm a Shimano guy too. So I mean I like the Stratix, the CI4s, and then the FKs. But yeah, so that's kind of like my my setups, the ones that I have on the boat with me pretty much all the time.
That looks like the only question. I'm assuming you're going to be at Lake George for the
Yes, I have
KBF
a goal
Trail.
for that too, for sure. So it's like, I mean, I would love to get top 20 at Lake George. That is that's a fun lake to fish. I don't fish it as much as I would like to, even though it's only like just like an hour away. But people can get some really good, some big smallmouth and big largemouth out of there. It's a great lake.
Greg Kraz says Corrado K Series HG,
I
and
think
the
I actually I think I have one of those too. But the thing is, like with the Corrado, I think I bought the Corrado K a couple of years ago, but I bought it in a right hand retrieve, and I switched over. So I mean, if anybody wants a Corrado K, I mean, I have one. And but it was weird because I just really just started with casting. It was like I think maybe like 2 years ago, and I just went with the right-handed retrieve. Most of the reels were available in right-handed, but for me, it felt weird to kind of to cast and to switch hands and then reel to right. It just didn't feel natural to me. So then I just I switched over to all left-handed. So that's pretty much what I own now, just all left-handed casting.
final question.
Yeah.
Your 2020 goals. We know it's
Yep.
top 100 at the NC, but what else you want to see in 2020?
I would love to get top 20 at the or at the trail tournament up at Lake George. That's a goal of mine. Um, I would. I mean, I would love to get AOY again this year for our club. I mean, that would be that's a goal of mine too. Let me see what else. Yeah, I thought about this. We have this live event. It is the Adirondack Paddle Fest. It's up in Old Forge, and that's a fun tournament because it's a combination tournament of two different species. So it's like a combination of pike in bass tournaments. So, one pike, four bass, it's your five best fish, one pike, four bass, two pike, three bass, and, maximum of two pike. But I mean, my goal is I want to get 100 inches that tournament. So I think, you get two 30-inch pike. Last year I got two, 29 and a half, 29 and a quarter. So, I mean, it's not impossible with, some halfway decent sized bass. I mean, it's doable. So that would be a goal of mine to get, 100-inch, total in a live event. And I think Old Forges, I think it's going to be, kind of give me like the best opportunity to do that. So
that's awesome. I hope you can reach all of those goals in 2020. You seem like a great guy.
I appreciate it.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you and the rest of your club down at the national championship in Gunnersville. And I'm definitely going to see you guys in Lake George because I'll be there. I got to redeem myself a little bit from last year.
Yeah, me too.
I did horrible. Again, a mental issue that I had and let it destroy my whole day. Didn't make adjustments when I needed to. So I'm looking.
Yeah, that's key.
I'm really looking forward to that tournament because I know I could have done a lot better. So I'll definitely see you there. You plan on going to any of the other KBF trails in the region?
No, actually, I think Lake George is the only one that I'm going to be able to make this year. So I just I got to do well on that one.
Right. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you thank anybody you want to thank, and then we'll get you off of here, and we'll see you down at the NC.
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, thank you for having me on as a guest, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, you're doing a great job with the podcast. So, thanks for, reaching out and having me on too. I want to also thank, KBF as the organization because, without, Chad and those guys, Joe and everybody that, none of this would be possible. And, our generous sponsors, Mountain Man Outdoor Supply, Dakota Lithium, Costa Sunglasses, NRS, apologize if I'm, missing a sponsor, but I really appreciate everything that they've done for our organization, and their generosity is really appreciated. Again, our club president Brian Balser, dude, if it wasn't for you, man, seriously, we wouldn't have this amazing club. So again, and thank you to the tournament directors too. Like honestly, I mean, these guys are doing a good job with the planning and organizing the schedule and judging the big fish and like some of my tiny ones, but yeah. So I just want to, just, definitely, thank those guys. We really, I'm sure I speak for all the other anglers up, but we really appreciate everything that, those guys do for us. So.
All right, Brian, thanks for coming on. I'm sure we'll have you on here again during the season when you're crushing it again up there in New York.
Let's hope so. All right, Jay, thank you so much for your time, buddy.
No problem. Thank you. We couldn't have a show without you.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a great night.
You too.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.
All right, guys. That was Bryan Nunziato from Adirondack KBF. He was the Angler of the Year. Sorry about the video. I'm not sure what happened, whether it was a Skype issue or maybe just poor service on somebody's end. I'm not sure who. Hopefully we can get that straightened out. Like I said, we had tested the connection earlier in the day today, and we had no issues. We talked for a good 10 minutes and didn't have any issues at all. And then all of a sudden, time to go live, and we had a ton of issues. Even before we went live, when we were giving it a second go around, testing about 5 minutes before the show, it wasn't working good. So we knew going into it there was going to be an issue. Luckily, I could figure out how to get it to just audio, and we could get him from there. Again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow night. We're going live with the TLW King, Greg Medicatis. We're going to talk about his TLW Worldwide and what they stand for. We're going to talk about his New England Bassin Elite Series trail coming out of Connecticut. It's a new format for kayak fishing, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night.